Prepare yourself for some crazy high stakes poker as we're playing in the 10, 25, 50 game here at Champions Card Club. Every few weeks I jump on a plane from Dallas over to Houston just to come for the insane action on this live stream. Even though I come for the poker, it's almost worth it just for the food here alone. Definitely one of the best steaks I've ever had. And if you weren't already convinced, Trick Time puts in one of the nastiest river bluffs I've ever seen. $13,000 into a $5,000 pot. Jumping right into hand number one, we buy in for $10,000 and look down at Jack King offsuit from the small blind. Viet opens up the +2 position with a mystery hand, and I decide to 3-bet him to $400. A little bit on the small side. I probably should go 5 to 600 from out of position, but he puts in the call and we flop ourselves middle pair and a gut shot straight draw. I go for a C-bet and Viet puts in the call, bringing in a brick, the 4 of hearts on the turn. I'm going to have range advantage on this board. Pocket kings, pocket aces, ace king suited, and offsuit are all in my range. Shouldn't be so much in Viet, so I go for a half pot size bet, and he folds a chop. He turns over his cards, king jack offsuit there. So yeah, we're going to take down hand number one of the stream. $2,100 coming over my way. That brings us into the second hand I get involved with. Ace queen offsuit this time from the hijack. I make it 150 and we pick up Ham in the cutoff, who puts in the cold call. And now Eddie with the mystery hand from the dealer button 3-bets us to $600. It's a strong 3-bet. It even gets rid of Buffalo Sam in the straddle with pocket threes. He folds his cards. The action's back over to me. Now I'm definitely not thinking about folding. I'm debating whether I should call or 4-bet. Ace Queen offsuit is actually one of our best candidates to 4-bet in this spot. Out of position here with Ace Queen offsuit, I decide to make it $1,800. So right off of the bat, we have 20% of our stack already in the middle with just ace high. Ham folds his cards. Ace-6 offsuit there is no bueno. I put on my snazzy jacket there I got from my buddies over in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. And yeah, we're going to need it here in this hand because Eddie decides to defend his 3-bet. We're going off to the streets in a 4-bet pot, nearly $4,000 in there, and the flop gives us some help. We're out of position, but it comes queen 9-4 rainbow. I decided to bet small here for $1,000, which is an absurd sentence. Betting small for $1,000 is pretty crazy, but yeah, relative to the size of the pot, it's around 25%. You can see Eddie here decided to call my 4-bet in position with 8-7 of diamonds. Don't blame the kid for doing so, but he flopped himself a whole bunch of nothing, which means I'm taking down that hand. Kind of a fun one here that I'm not involved with. We see Eddie and Ham get it all in a 4-bet pot with king-6 of diamonds and 10-9 of spades, neither of which are especially too short. It's a $7,000 pot. Ham's going to take down one of the boards. Eddie is going to take down the second, and they're chopping that one up. Then right after that, in hand number 15, Ham, Viet, and now the Joker get into a 3-way $13,000 pot. Ham has Jack 3 of diamonds, so this guy has come to gamble. Shout out to Ham, and Joker's going to take it down with trip kings on the flop and quads on the river. What overkill in that hand. Well, we pick up a hand of our own in the small blind here, king jack offsuit. I decide to come in for a raise to $400. $100 straddle was out there, that's why I sized up so large. We're going to pick up 2 hooligans here, Ham and the Joker, with 7-6 of hearts and ace-4 offsuit, respectively. I flop myself top pair, odd position. I think it's smart to continue betting here. There's $1,250 in the middle, and I size down here to $400. And neither player are going anywhere. Ham calls with his pair, and so does Joker with his bottom pair best kicker. The turn comes at 10 of spades, and I'm pretty excited with myself here when I went for a bet for $1,100. I mean, it's pretty easy for you guys to say, oh, you have a king, just bet. But when you get called in 2 spots, the big blind and the straddle, all cards are on the table. You saw that Ham was playing Jack 3 of diamonds, so what's stopping him from playing King 4, King 7, 4-10, 4-7, 7-10, King 10? I mean, there's just so many hands there, and then he could also have 5-6 suited and Queen Jack suited, so a lot of interesting things. I decided to go for that $1,100 bet, and that whole speech I just gave you was for naught because both of them reluctantly fold their cards. One pair, you guys. You don't have to be that sticky. Fold your cards and give me a $1,600 profit in hand number 21. As you can see early on, I'm up $4,000, which is definitely the idea I had when I was flying out here from Dallas. So I'm glad I'm off to a hot start. Let's continue the madness here in Houston. I pick up ace queen offsuit once again, this time from the cutoff, and I start with an open to $150 over a $50 straddle. Ham comes in for a 3-bet to $400. He'll be in position the rest of the way. So ace queen offsuit, definitely a great candidate to go for a 4-bet. You saw that earlier. And Jack 9 suited is kind of the same as the hand I faced earlier. I think it was 8-7 of diamonds. So I put in the 4-bet here once again to $1,200, and Ham did not 3-bet me in position to fold his cards. He calls, and off to a flop we go.
Do you think Ham is folding? Have you seen this man play yet?
Which
in
comes
position?
9-8 deuce with 2 diamonds. Kind of a bummer getting out flopped. We're now going to lose this 1 out of every 4 times. I decided to go for a down bet here to $800. And in hindsight, I don't really love this bet because look at the size of Ham's stack. Makes it pretty easy for him to jam with any 10 jack, diamond draws, top pair, second pair, pocket pairs. I mean, I just have ace high. I probably should just check it over to Ham or just shove it in his face, which is exactly what he does to me. He rips it in for $2,800, and it's only another $2K for me to call into a pot of $6K. But with just ace high and the diamond in my hand being the queen and not the ace, I think better of it and fold my cards. Unfortunate, I couldn't have scooped in this pot with ace queen offsuit once again. King 10 offsuit is a great hand though. We're going to pick it up from the hijack. I make it $75 to go. It looks like someone missed the $50 straddle. We're going to get called by Ham. That is a sentence you are going to hear a lot tonight. And Viet also puts in the call. The flop comes king 6-3, and Viet has a mystery hand. The action checks over to myself, and in between him and Ham, I decide to start with a check. That is a lesson that my poker coach Alvin has given me. If you guys want coaching of your own or to check out our course, the link is down below. But yeah, in between 2 opponents, he advises to start with a check. That's what I do, and the turn comes the 5 of clubs. Viet checks for a second time now, and the action's on me. I can't be checking with 2 diamonds out there and possible straight draws and pair plus straight draws. So I bet out for 125. I probably could go a little bit larger considering there's a diamond draw out there. But it looks like Viet has other ideas. He's going to pump the money in there, and check raises me to 400. Not much of a decision with top pair, especially when I check through on the flop. So I put in the call, and the river comes a 6 of diamonds. It's not a brick. It pairs the board for one thing, and also it's the 3rd diamond out there. I do have the 10 of diamonds in my hand, so it would be interesting if Viet slows down and checks it over to me if I take my showdown value or if I would have gone for a bet. But that's not what happens. Viet decides to fire out for $800 into the 1K pot. That puts me in a weird spot. I have a king, but it feels like a bluff catcher at this point. Any 6 beats me, 2 diamonds beat me, and then of course there is a possible straight considering there's 3, 5, and 6 out there. So at the end of the day, I didn't fly all the way down to Houston to fold for $800 with top 2 pair. So I put in the call, and he turns over king deuce offsuit. Was this a bluff? Was this a value bet? I guess we'll never know. I pull out my phone to record for Instagram Reels, which if you guys aren't following me there, go check it out. Getting an absurd amount of views there as well. But yeah, we're going to record that hand, take down another pot. And that brings us into the biggest pot of the night, Trick Time versus the Joker, aces versus queens, a standard cooler. It wasn't all in pre. The king of diamonds on the flop could have given Joker enough incentive to fold, but he's going to get it in and lose this 22K pot. And I guess that's how Trick Time does it. He comes here, he buys in for like 5 to 10K, and then just runs it up. His stack is 22K early on in this session. I raise the cutoff with ace-jack offsuit, and Joker defends. The flop comes king-jack 8 with 2 clubs, and I decide to fire out for $100. Joker puts in the call, and the 7 of clubs peels off on the turn. A little bit more of the same here. He checks it over to me, but I decide now with 3 clubs out there and no club in my hand to check behind. When the river card comes, the 10 of spades really shouldn't change too much unless he has like 9 queen or any 9 in his hand. He checks it over to me. I go for super thin value for $75, which is a little bit ambitious. Kind of just was trying to make a joke here. Fire out for 75, and somehow we get a call. Jack deuce of hearts is no good. Once again, Joker, you are making the Instagram reel. And look at that. We are steamrolling this table up a few grand early on. In hand number 68, we raise it up with ace-king offsuit to 350. We end up getting 4 callers, and the flop is no bueno for us. On the turn, we see a lead from Matt and a raise from Trick Time. That causes us to fold, which ends the hand. Oh, no, it's not ending the hand. This might be the most interesting hand that you guys will ever see. When trick time raises the turn, Matt decides just to call with his set, and on the river jack of clubs, Matt checks it over to trick time. If you look at his hand though, he has 8-6 offsuit, which blocks 5-6 and pocket 8s. Kind of two good cards to go for a bluff. At the same time though, queen jack 8, I mean that allows the 9-10 straight to be out there, and there's other sets like queens and jacks as well. Interesting spot here from trick time. How much is he going to go for if he decides to bluff? Well, he decides to double overbet the size of the pot for $13,500, which puts Matt in one of the grossest spots I probably have ever seen on this live stream.
Trick time firing over 10,000. Over double the pot.
Sure, he has pocket fours. It's a set. Very easy for all of us to say now it's a snap call. However, in the moment, he's losing to pocket 7s, pocket 8s, pocket queens, pocket jacks. He's also losing to 5-6 and 9-10 as well. I think trick time is good enough to have all of those hands in his range. At the end of the day, Matt decides to fold. Trick time turns over one pair, and you better believe for the rest of this live stream, the whole table was needling poor Matt in seat number 9 over there. If you guys didn't already appreciate the legend that is trick time, let this hand go down in history. 8-6 offsuit, double overbets the river and gets a set to fold. Shout out to you, Trick Time. You're one bad man. Speaking of Trick Time, he opens it up from the +3. I 3-bet him with pocket jacks to $300. We're going to get a few more callers, and Trick Time calls as well, going 4 ways to the flop, which comes ace high, ace 8-8 with 2 diamonds. Action checks over to me, and I think this is a little bit too ambitious to go for a bet. I fire out for $425. And you can see that Viet has made top pair. He immediately goes for the raise, which gets trick time to fold. So I just gave him his roses in that last hand, making an insane bluff. But now he's forced to fold his hand in a tough spot, although he might be able to peel one time. When the action's back over to me, I fold my cards. Pocket jacks are just no bueno, and Vegas Viet taking down hand number 77. But why am I so excited and filming the table with a smile on my face after losing a 3K pot? Well, it's because I just put on Jerry's hoodie, and Jerry's favorite hand is pocket jacks. I literally put on the hoodie, pick up pocket jacks. It'd be the equivalent of me handing out a pocket 7s hat to trick time, and him picking up pocket 7. So even though I lose that 3K pot, kind of a funny thing there. First time I ever wear the hoodie, I pick up his favorite hand. I decided to call with pocket 8s over an open from Vegas Viet. We pick up trick time as well, going 3 ways to the flop, which comes ace, ace, 9. I call this bet on the flop with my 2 pair, but when the turn comes at king of spades, the action slows down, bringing in the 9 of diamonds on the river. That counterfeits my 2 pair, and that's where we draw the line in the sand. This hand is over. All right, last hand of the night I'm going to report on. Trick time makes it 100. I 3-bet him with ace, king of clubs from the hijack. We pick up the joker, and trick time himself with a mystery hand. Off to a flop we go, which comes monotone hearts, king, jack, 10, all hearts. We flop ourselves top pair and a gutter to Broadway, and the action checks over to myself. I go for a very small bet here on a monotone board with my top pair. Joker puts in the call with 5-4 offsuit with the 5 of hearts, and trick time now goes for the check raise large here to $995. And what do you guys do in this spot? Obviously, you can't see his cards, which makes it a little bit more interesting. I mean, he's definitely capable of bluffing. I showed you guys that hand earlier where he got Matt to fold. Is he going to get me to fold the best hand here? No, I do fold my cards, but he had 6-7 of hearts, so I make a good fold there on the flop. I just wasn't prepared to hold on to turn and river if he had a hand like Jack 9 with the 9 of hearts, or Ace Jack with the Ace of hearts, something like that. I fold my cards. At the end of the session, we gave back a bunch of our profits. Let's bring it to the outro here to see how we did. Alright, that brings us to the outro. What is this silly hat on my head? Well, I'll explain at the end. As for champions, we got in for 10K, ran it up to 14 just to piss it all away, and cashed out for 8. So our third straight loss here at Champions live stream. Lost $2,000, but I'm coming back February 10th and 11th for the 12 days of Wolfmas. So if you guys want a chance to meet me or play on the live stream, maybe if someone busts, or play in the meetup game on the 11th, come out to Champions in Houston on February 10th and 11th. Now, as for this, why am I wearing this hat and what's the mess behind me all about? Well, I'm packing for my 2-week trip to Argentina and Antarctica. And I don't know, I haven't seen any other video on the internet in terms of poker in those two places. So if you guys are watching this video in about a week or two from now, you might be seeing a video from Argentina, playing poker there, and also in Antarctica. Pretty surreal stuff. Thanks for being a subscriber of this channel. Really appreciate it. Cool things coming up the rest of this year. Good luck on the felt as always, you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Is that Wolfgang Poker?